Good morning, it's just so Trish, and it's my mid-year homeschool update. Coffee morning style, it's been a while. Okay, so I've posted a picture of Instagram, and I had some of you were just like, give us a homeschool update. What are you using? Because it doesn't look like what you started. Okay, so it isn't what we originally started with. We've kind of evolved, and in reality, we're just kind of getting back on it this week. It's kind of been very hairy. So, as you know, I did like a whole video of using that we were buying the BJU. You know, we did the BJU and we got the DVDs and I did all of the curriculum. I had a few hiccups and so forth. And one of the biggest hiccups I realized was like we all are ADHD of some level. And the DVDs were fun at first and then they began to check out. So after a lot of effort, I tabled those for a while, which was hard because they were so expensive. And I tried to figure out ways to tweak what we had, and it just kind of was a mess. We did some easy peasy. We did some CTC math. I like CTC math. I like that as a great reference. I hate to say we have been all over the place. I've even bought in the big complete curriculums to use for a little bit just to keep us moving in a direction. And even though I said I wasn't going to do it, it was another year being all over the place. And I'm not going to lie, I spent a lot of money. So one of the hard parts about doing BJU is I think my kids are at the point, and they've been long enough that just get to the point. And a lot of times, even though they're like 10, 15-minute videos, there's so much extra information that my ADHD kids are just like, what? Wait, what? Wait, what were we talking about? And that ends up being really hard for them. The other aspect that ends up being really hard is all the handouts, all the extra stuff. And it just gets to be overwhelming as a mom to keep it together. And the fact that we're like between everything, you know, we live in a tiny house. We have the house that flooded. I know, if you don't know my story, it's a sad one. Anyways, it's not that sad. It could be worse. But we just kind of ran into problems like managing it all. And managing it all is just a constant battle for me. And I was hoping I could get the DVDs and it just worked. And it ended up like becoming so much stuff. So much stuff. So we pulled out of that. And, you know, I'm realizing different things. And the year goes by. And we do a lot of 4-H as our homeschool. And there's reports to write. There's management. There's finances. There's learning. Well, there's learning, of course. There's self-discipline and things like that. And we've been working on that. We visited a classical conversation community. That will be another video. That will have to be another video. So anyways, I was talking to a friend of mine. And we were discussing homeschool. And I was just telling her like some of the stuff I'm having a hard time with. I have to leave at 9 o'clock to go take my son to preschool. Because for some dumb reason I thought it'd be great to put him in preschool. I'd be freed. There was not as much freedom as I thought. But now I'm just like, we're gonna finish. I'm not pulling him out. We're going to go to the end of May and just finish. And then that was nice. And he's gotten a lot of pluses from it. It just has been at the expense of the way I traditionally do homeschool. So that's been hard. So it breaks up my day a lot that it's hard to be like consistent. And I have a friend who's like, you need a schedule. And I'm like, I'm not a schedule person at all. So anyways, why I'm telling you all that is this last half of our homeschool year this year has really a lot more about our theology, philosophy, versus our curriculum, to put it that way. So here's the deal. What we need most right now is self-discipline. Yeah, more than math, more than reading, more than English. Self-discipline. Now, don't jump to any conclusions. I haven't told you how I'm doing it. But it's self-discipline. We, being in transition now for almost 2 years, being in this transition house for coming up 1 year next month, being the fact that my house still is not selling because somebody didn't have the finances they said they did. We've like slippery sloped out of being disciplined, becoming lazy, becoming all the birds. Can you hear it in the background? There's also all the way out there, you can hear the guinea. But, you know, so we become lazy, we become passive, we become kind of complacent. And all of these have become really bad habits, and they show up in our homeschool. And they show up like everywhere. And I think this can be a very dangerous place, especially when you're kind of at home. It's just you guys at home as a family, and you become complacent. And that's what we're suffering from. We're very complacent. We've lost our discipline. We've lost some of our motivation just in everything. So even though we're doing the 4-H projects and we're doing the stuff at the fair, it at the same time is a struggle because we're just not feeling it. And at the same time, doing the fair was very motivating because they actually showed us accomplishments on a daily basis that were short term, and we weren't getting that feedback at home. Just look at my laundry pile. And I know all homeschool moms have laundry piles, but mine doesn't even have a place to go because there's no space. Kind of deal. So with that said, now that I'm 6 minutes and I got you, for our actual curriculum, I've just hit the point of it's more important that we finish some books than it matters about anything else. Anything else. So first and foremost, I have gone all over the board. I even bought ACE math books again because that's what my kids liked. And, you know, and I'm literally always on a rabbit hole for math with my kids because, oh, I don't like this and I don't like that. And, you know, I like this better and this is my learning style. And in all honesty, we're the parents. There's no public school when we were going to school that did math to our learning style. Not to say it's not whatever. But here's my thing. I am so aggravated with my kids and their math that I don't care what style of math they like to do. I'm going to do what's easiest for me because it doesn't matter if I give them what they want. They're not going to do it. So, you know what's easy for me? Is a Saxon math book. And you know why? I have them and you can't write in them. And I can keep the answer key right here. And I might not even do the test because I don't care. I'll just do the thing. But the other nice part is with this book and with all of them, they don't have like 180 lessons. This one has 138 lessons. So one of my biggest things is, you know what? In 8 years homeschooling my kids, I know this is probably shameful to say, and it didn't even hit me until I said it out loud the other day. We've yet to finish one book that isn't a PACE packet or a Christian Light education packet. I think that's why I like those workbooks, which that's a whole nother video too. So I put them all in Saxon. All of them except my second grader. I'm like, you're doing this, you're doing one lesson, and my kids tend to disappear during chore time. So I'm just like, you have to do it before you can even walk out of the house, before you eat breakfast, do your Saxon math. I don't care. I do care for those that are like, what? But I just need to do something that's, you get it done. It's not because you like it, but because you're practicing the discipline of math. Self-discipline. So, I needed something for the second grader, and I've come back to this, the BJU math, because, well, it has a ton of stuff in it. But I found, like, without having all the books and having all the stuff, it was really hard to instruct her, and she's kind of all over the place. And actually, and I put her back in the English. I put everybody back in the English. And I put her in the English, and actually yesterday we had a complete meltdown because as I'm explaining the English, she's just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I was like, you know what? You're getting the DVDs. Go find the DVD player. And I pulled the math and the English DVDs for second grade. And now it has all these extra stuff that they do hands-on. And I'm just like, you're going to watch that. You're not going to do it. You're just going to do the work page. You're going to go through the work page with them. and you're going to do that, and you're going to watch the video and just watch them do all the extra stuff. You're not making that stuff. We're just doing this. And so that kind of worked out really well, and like the explanation came together really well for her. So with that, I've put my kids back into the English for BJU. I do like the way it's explained. We're definitely going to go for more sentence diagramming in the future. And so I want to make sure that like we get that through BJU. Now, the one thing I'm debating about is I want to finish the book. That's what it's all about. We're going to finish some books. And that's what's motivating Mom. And that's what I want to teach them. And I want to give them that sense like we finished the book. One thing I'm thinking about doing, I like the IEW style, is actually skipping all the writing chapters in the English program with BJU. And at the end of the year, we'll do the writing. But until then, we can do IEW at the same time. So I'm looking at doing that, which would help us get through. My 2 kids are in English 4. And so I actually, one's a little bit was further ahead, but I brought her back and we're going one by one. And I'm leading the lesson, not the DVDs or anything. And then my other one's in English 6, and her and I do that together. I know I'm trying to go quickly because I don't want to spend so much time. I pulled out the reading textbooks. You know, again, I'm not following the teacher workbooks. I'm really going through the work textbooks that they're doing and just seeing what pages they need to read, and they need to read that and come back and do it. I'm doing that for all of my kids but one. My 7th grader just thrives on the easy peasy reading, and she's the one that reads. You hear that chirping? That's a cardinal. Red cardinals. There's so many here. She really thrives on the antiquated books. So this works for her, and she just does a page. With that said, also, I've pulled out the spelling because that's what I had. I pulled out spelling, and they're doing their BJU spelling. No bells and whistles, just straight out doing it. I also pulled out the handwriting because I had it. So a lot of this has to do with I had it, and we're going to get through this. My son, I cannot find his handwriting book at all. So I happen to have this on hand, and he does really well with copy work, so he's doing copy work. All right. I'm also using, because my son can use the extra work, is the Plaid Phonics, and him and I work through this like every other day. What else do I have? Even though we're doing English 2, I'm still finishing up our Rod and Staff, and we're almost done with the learning to read. And she reads really well. She's reading the 2A books. She's reading this really well, the BJU 2A. And listen, we might only do 2A and not 2B, and that's okay. And then we're working through the language arts because it has the phonics. Some of them are doing Bible review. Yeah. And some of them are doing the Bible review. So that's really what I've got going on. And then the other one is I've been giving them a map, and I'm having them learn all the placements of the states right now. And they're writing down the capitals in the states. And so I'm having them do it every day, just like I did last year with the math facts. Remember how I did that? I did a math fact copy work. So like my 2nd grader does math fact copy work, but I'm having them do the states and capitals like the math fact copy work. So one of the things that's been really helpful, and I'm sorry if I'm going too fast, just scale it to slow. One of the biggest issues I had when my 2nd grader was doing BJU with the videos is keeping it all together. Oh my goodness. Going through the DVDs, she has all the DVDs misplaced. They're in such different orders. She can't keep them together. It's just like, And she would do that with her papers. So what I've done now is I've actually just stapled everything for the day together, and I did that for the rest of the week. Right? And then I put on there like what DVD she needs for that. And so she does her spelling in the book because I don't want to have a page that you do part of one day and then you need that page for the next day. It just stays in the book. But it gives me her English, her math. She does the phonics review by BJU because I was told to get it. We're just working through it. And then her reading. is in here. And then she does her handwriting and her spelling words separate. And it's working out okay. One of the things I also set up is I built like a little graph. It's actually color coded, but it's not on here. And I can just check it off as I go. But so this is all about finishing our year, finishing some books, and just being self-disciplined. And I'm using what I got to do it. So I hope this helps you. I can do more. Just ask me questions. Have you found like you kind of need the same thing? It's like we need to be self-disciplined. But I will talk to you guys later. Drink my coffee.